moved so much. I never was part of a community. And so that's why I love being here, because even though I didn't want to come back at the beginning, I just love being here because I never had any roots before. And people would talk about going home for a reunion or so forth, and I never had any place to go home to a reunion. So that this is really my home, and I love being a part of the community, and it's been just a wonderful experience for me to live here. And to, you know, our business and association with everything has just been a very rewarding life, and I just love being there. And I think people who don't grow up in a place don't really realize what it's like not to have any roots. And you don't think about it when you're growing up, but when you look back on it, you're never in a place long enough to make a really good friend because you're gone. And all those things really have a real deep effect on you as a person. And so this has really been a very rewarding experience for me to live here and work here and be part of this community.
Well, we're fortunate to benefit from all your experiences.
Well, thanks. I've enjoyed it.
Thank you. Dining room, and I'm just going to let her take us on a tour of the Buick. Go ahead, Corrie.
This is our house, and we built this in 1967, and it's something that we had always wanted to do. We had a small house on Clinton Street, and with the 4 children, we just outgrew it. And so we had always wanted a special type of a house, a colonial house, and we couldn't find any plans. And so Don one day called me from Geneva, and he said, I found our house. So he said, I'm going to come home and get you, and we're going to go see it. So he came and got me, and we went back, and they were building this house over in Geneva. And so we found out who the owners were, and we talked to them. And the only difference was is we switched the house around, and we made the rooms a couple of the rooms a little bit bigger. And we could have even done more, but anyway, we made them a little bit bigger. And we had bought 3 different locations for our house. And for some reason, we found out that the locations were wrong. And finally here, Stan Stout owned all these vineyards back here. And so Don approached him, and he said, sure, he'd sell us 3 acres up here. So we bought the 3 acres and then built our house. And the view is magnificent from the back. You can see all the way over to Seneca Lake and the vineyards and the fields and everything. It's just a wonderful place. And because there were, of course, at that time, no trees or it was just bare land. And so we had to do an awful lot, and my husband loves to work outside, and it's fun for him, and there was a lot of work and a lot of grapevines and that type of thing. And so it's been, what would you call it, a career joy for him for the outside, because he's continually changing trees, taking trees down, putting up new trees, putting new plants, and he's a gardener, so he loves his flowers and rose garden. And so this has been a wonderful place for us to bring up the rest of our family in their teenage years. And although Stephen was only 5 or 6 when we built this. So this was the first thing that we wanted Linda to paint, is our home, because it's meant a lot to us as a family. And then the second place is our business. Now, do you want to...
Corrie, you speak of such affection of your husband. Do you want to comment on your wonderful marriage?
Oh, yes. We're going to celebrate 50 years this year. And it's just been wonderful. He's very supportive, kind and gentle. In fact, it's kind of a joke because Marcia and I are very good friends. And when she, in a very romantic moment with Fred, one time we saw a lot of them as a couple, and Fred said to her, Marcia, who's the most wonderful husband in the world? And she said, Don Stork. And I guess that says it all. He has been supportive of me and all the things that I have wanted to do, supportive of the children, and he's been a wonderful provider, and I'm very lucky. And the children think the world of him, and he has a wonderful relationship with all of the children. And different ones now, like Kathy is a gardener and she has her own business now, so they have a great time. And of course, Stephen being here, it's very nice because we can do things with his family and follow his children along, and Don has been a big help there. I think one of the things too is that it's been so very few husband and wives can work together because you're together at home. We have worked together in the business and we just work very well together. So I guess our personalities mesh, and we've just been very fortunate. And this year, every 5 years, starting when we were 40 years, we have taken our family on a vacation. And when we were 4 years, we took all our children and grandchildren to Disney World. And then when we were 45, we took everybody to Williamsburg. And this year, we're taking everybody to Hilton Head. So our family means a lot to us, and we've just been very fortunate as a couple to have a wonderful relationship ourselves, and as our kids said, to a good example for them on what really does make a good marriage, because we both work at it and we're lucky. This is our business, and it's Beaumont and Stork. And when Linda painted this, and painted all the murals, and she was done, she came and she said, now, do you have any criticism? And I said, yes, I do. I said, you don't have a light pole in there, and those lights are so nice now in Penn Yan we have. Plus, we've always had flowers in front of our office. And then Don said, your perspective is wrong. He's very artistic and he's good with proportion. And she said, you're right, I have made a mistake here. So she corrected that. So now I think it really looks nice. She has these trees, of course, which are downtown. But Don joined Mr. Beaumont in 1951 when we were married, and then he started buying the business in 1953 when we formed the corporation Beaumont Stork. And so that it is still a corporation, and he now is chairman, and I'm secretary treasurer. But this is the third location we've had. We had another location on Main Street that when he was with Mr. Beaumont, which was very tiny, and which is where Phil Bailey is today. And then we were up on the corner of Maiden Lane for quite a while. And then when Don bought Mr. Morgan in 1970, this was Mr. Morgan's building. And so we moved our office down there.